What's up, everybody?
What
Welcome
up,
back
everybody?
to Unfiltered Idiots, and Wes is in rare form this afternoon, this evening. So, just real quick, we were talking sidebar about how Wes's team, the Bears, the Chicago Bears, right, are going to be a 9-win team. But we're not gonna talk about that today. But I just thought it was funny. It actually gave me a jolt of energy because everybody knows that I'm a huge Bronco fan, and I no, my team sucks. They're gonna suck for the next 3 or 4 years. So I can say that. So, but Wes
Hey,
is
man,
not
I
my
like I
team.
like Bo. I think Bo Nix is going to be okay, and I think him and Sean Payton are going to be a good match together. I really do.
Great.
Like on tape, I'm here right now. I still think they're going to be bad because the roster is bad, but
Your
that's like
roster's
the.
bad. What are you talking
It's
about?
not, dude. You're crazy.
What are you talking about?
We'll
Anyways,
we'll have to get
well,
into
we'll have to
this.
get into the sports
It's
edition.
insane.
We'll have to get in that. But I know that
Sports,
I know that you had some
sports.
things to talk about today. I'll let you go ahead and lead the conversation. I've been doing some stuff on just to let you know. I am no longer a Kyle Kowinski fan just because of the way he was tweeting a few days ago. So, yeah, that's why I didn't watch that, Wes. I know that you
Uh,
like him a lot, but I'll
what was
talk
he
to you about
tweeting a
that
few
later.
days ago?
He was just talking about how he wasn't giving any like sort of life to the Democrat Party. Like he wasn't giving them any sort of like Biden was still in it at this point, so he was just basically downgrading and degrading the party, and I just didn't really like it. So
Oh yeah, trust me, he's definitely happy now that they replaced Biden. He's definitely, you know, pushing, he just again, I don't blame him. Like, dude, if they would have left that dude in and we would have just kept like and all the blue maggot people would have been like, listen, we just gotta get behind him. It's like I mean, you're starting to get to the level again, starting. You're not at the level of wearing head to toe, painting your fucking car, getting tattoos of Trump yet, but like people are starting to act like that stupid with Joe Biden and be like,
yeah.
guys, it just doesn't matter if he's dying and if he's got this and that. It's like it does matter because nothing will change if we keep conforming to the same tired ass shit of like, well,
So
these are only options.
I
So,
had a different
but
I had a different outlook on that because I thought that they turned on him way too easy. And that's what I had a problem with. I obviously knew that he needed to get out of the race, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
I just had a problem with the way everyone turned on him, and like I know that Joe Biden is a decent person. I know that he has our best interests in mind. So it kind of sucked to see, but it was definitely it needed to happen. So I'm over it.
yeah,
I'm over my feelings. I'm out of my feelings. I think that
yeah.
we're here to announce for the first show since our last show that Kamala Harris has now accepted or received enough delegates to be the next Democrat presidential whatever they
Yeah,
call it these days. So
the nomination.
the nomination.
The candidate. Yeah, so guys, like this is the first time in US history that a incumbent president has dropped out of a race. We've said this is the first time in US history a lot over the last 4 to
I
6,
know,
8 years.
right?
Well, let's just go back to about
Damn.
2015 when the orange clown was coming down the escalator. We said this is a lot. I mean, since that day, since like pretty much that whole year of 2015, so I guess we're on 9 years at this point. We've been saying a lot of this is the first time in US history, da da da. This is the first time in it. I would say the gigantic majority of them have been negative.
Yeah.
I think this is a positive first time in US history, and I actually applaud the Democrat Party. I think they're a little slow for not doing this a year ago and having a true convention. And I'll change it real quick. If you were to ask me, I think both parties or all parties, I wish we had 4 or 5 to be honest, but I think every election cycle you should maybe even be forced, if not extremely encouraged, to have a primary because I just think that it's the right thing to do. I think it's
Yeah.
a democratic process to say, hey, let us, we the people, decide who we want by checking a ballot, right, circling it, whatever, going down to a place and hitting the primary button for this guy or girl. I think that's the right way to
Because
go. The Democrats,
right now it's separated by the delegates, right? So the delegates are the ones that typically are the ones that choose that. Well, so I don't know. I guess I don't know how that process works. I think that's how it is. There's delegates and there's super delegates, and then they vote, and then that's how we get that person
yeah,
into that position, right? So I agree with you. I think that that's something that we all should have a voice in. I don't know like the logistics of that and how that works. I mean, we have I think the best election system in the world. I don't think that that would be something that would be an issue, right?
yeah.
So I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I think like a combination of like us or like a parliament kind of idea, like I like both of those types of scenarios. But yeah, I think we have, when you start comparing us to plenty of other places that don't have,
Yeah,
any kind of democratic process, right?
right.
We could always compare Michael Jordan to the scrub that's at the YMCA. But when we're comparing Kobe Bryant to Michael Jordan, if we're the Michael Jordan of the world, or whatever people want to say, we should compare ourselves to the other like top players, Kobe, LeBron, Kareem, etc. Right? So like comparing us to the UK and Germany's and Spain's and France and right like some of these other countries, Canada, that just have like a basically that are on our level, if you will, of democracies and economies where in which they like try to be pretty fair. I mean, we have plenty of complaints about things going on, but when it comes to this, like I said, we'll give them their flowers. Even if it was reportedly a sticky Biden not really wanting to make the change type situation. There were some reports that there were some threats made, such as like you'll step down or we'll make this embarrassing for you and we'll
Yeah,
replace you because they had the delegates on their side.
yeah.
I'm glad it didn't come to that because that would have been more division. But
There's actually reports too that President Obama and Nancy Pelosi were pulling strings in the background trying to make this happen. So I think that coupled with
yep,
President Biden getting COVID, all of these things, other things going on in the background, I think that it was like you need to sit down, and there were some tough conversations that were had. And again, like we talk about, doing what's right and what's best for the country. And I think that that's what
yep,
he did. That's exactly what he did, and that's what a true leader and a true man does. They step up and
yeah,
say, "Hey, you know, I need to get out of the way because we don't see a path forward," and they have the most intelligent whatever systems to predict how the elections are going to go, right? So if they saw that and they brought that data to him, because I'm sure he wanted to see every stitch of data. And I'm sure in his mind, he thought to himself that, hey, there's a path forward for me. But when he saw that data, I think that that's when he made that decision, that final decision. And again, I've seen over the last couple of days so much enthusiasm come from the left because of Kamala being propped up or pushed that way by the
yeah,
party. So I've seen a lot of energy that I had not seen under Biden. So this is going to be
yeah.
this is going to be a competitive race, I think, and it's going to get nasty. It's going to get racist. It's going to get all kinds of things. But I think that she's strong enough to withstand all of those things. And by God, she's the freaking vice president of the United States now. So
Yeah. Well, she raised $61 million within 21 hours. That was a record.
it was 80
Um,
something million.
I think it hit 80 now. I'm saying, but in the first 21 hours of the announcement, it was 61 million,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Oh yeah, now I mean, obviously it's just gaining more and more. But she had what I think I sent you that had 28,000 volunteers show up to county offices all over the country saying that they're
Well,
ready to text, call, go door knock, whatever the hell. Yeah.
for context, I'm glad you brought that up. Biden had raised a little over 100 million this entire time, right?
Yeah.
And she got that in like not even 3 days, like 2 days.
Yeah,
Like she
yeah,
only
yeah,
got that much. So
yeah. It's
the
good though. I
fire's
mean, this,
back and it's there.
yeah, and I mean, like I said, she wouldn't be my first choice.
Right.
If I had again, if the girl is old enough, I think AOC would be somebody like my first choice. If Bernie was 15 years younger, Bernie would be really my first choice. But I think it's a great thing if we can get, you know, like I wish, I wish, Kamala was even more progressive, but compared to like Joe Biden, she's left of him on a lot of things. So at least we'll take the win where we can get it.
Mhm.
She's left of him when it comes to the Israel Palestine thing. I could tell you, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know some states like Minnesota had over 100 and some thousand. I think Colorado had over 30 some thousand that did this. I believe Michigan had, it might have even been like a couple 100,000, but you had states all over the country. And I'm one of those people here in Colorado who, on the primary, just as a protesting against Biden, we checked Democrat and not Trump or not Biden. Basically, you can check just the party. And
Yeah.
people did that as a protest against Biden's policies with allowing Israel to, like, basically do a genocide, or continue a genocide they've been doing for a long time, and on the Palestinians. And I think they saw that coupled with him. I mean, to kind of go back to what you were saying a minute ago, where they're like, oh, he wanted to see the data points. I was going to make a minor joke. I would have clockworked orange his ass and taped his eyes open and made him watch the debate and be like,
Yeah.
yo, there's the data where you're going.
Yeah.
And like when that one thing where he said how he killed Medicare, and I was just like, oh God. And then even Trump goes, I'm not even sure what he said there. I'm not sure he even knows what he said. That was
Yeah.
it. That was a
That
wrap. I'm
was
like, dude, that dude just went like this,
that was
dug
the
your hole for you, and threw you in it.
yeah, that was probably one of the hardest things to watch, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the leader of our country, and that
Yep.
person couldn't even put together a couple sentences, and as we were watching it here at the house, it was just like we're done. I mean, I said
Yeah.
I said I was like Trump is going to be our next president,
If we don't replace Biden, but we did. Like,
but so here's the thing though. Like I was like, I thought he was going to do a Trump and lean in, and no one's gonna tell him what to do, and because Scranton Joe is kind of stubborn, right? Like so.
yeah.
We thought that he wasn't going to get out of the way and he was just going to let this go through. But at the end of the day, I think the writing was on the wall. But I also think that, to your point, there were probably some threats on his go forward plan,
Yeah.
and that probably had to do with knowing the Democrats with money. So like
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, George Clooney came out about a week and a half ago. You had some high like people who are like well spoken. They, like a lot of folks in the sports world, the music world, right? The arts, entertainment, all that stuff world, they came from working class. They understand what it is like to go. And yeah, people shit on them now and like, oh, they got all this money. Why don't they? It's like, but so what? They did it through a meritocracy and they got to a point where we respect them for that
yeah,
because we know most of these men and women came from where most of us came from. They didn't just get handed this money, right? And so, when those people speak, there's a reason why those of us listen to a Dwayne Johnson or Taylor Swift, or I mean, I could use any one of these people because anybody, whether they're black, white, brown, straight, gay, male, female, trans, whatever, right? They could go, hey, there's those people, they could see themselves in them and say, oh, I get it. You grew up in a normal ass house. You worked at McDonald's as a kid for a little while. You got your first job at 20, then oh, congratulations, you had a record blow up and you're famous now, or you hit it big on the movie screen while you're out waitressing at night. You know what I mean? Like we represent that, and so when a guy like Joe comes around, we like the fact that like, hey, you came from working class. You seem like you're a good guy. So we're like, fine with him. But
yeah,
then it's like, man, he just was declining so hard. It was sad to see.
right,
And there, and now we see like Kamala come out and I one of her first like her first ads that she was hitting Trump with, even when she was VP, was how she was a prosecutor who prosecuted sexual offenders, and said, and Trump's like in the ad said, and Mr. Trump's a sexual offender, and then it plays this clip of him saying, "Grab him by the pussy," and it was just like, yo, these ads like that's what we should be doing to that clown. Like
Yeah.
the Democrats
So
consistently be too sweet and nice. You
yeah,
need to
so
play a little
my
hardball.
my my take on that is I'm afraid that I think that she has no problem going after him, but I'm afraid that a lot of the racist stuff is going to start popping back up.
Yep.
And
Well,
you know, it sucks to say, and it sucks to talk about that. But I think that, to your point, you got to hit him hard. I mean, what
yeah,
happened the day that she came out, right? He was on Truth Social going,
yeah.
losing his mind, like losing his mind, didn't know what to do, because now you have to completely change your strategy. You have to, you can't talk about the person being too old now, right? Because he's the oldest person that's running for president.
It's on my
And then,
post today.
yeah, and then, yeah. And
Congrats on being the
then
oldest nominee.
and then now it's not F Joe Biden, it's not all of these things, and now you have this other person in Kamala that is just like youthful and ready to pounce. And so like I think that, oh, and let me just say this real quick. I posted a couple clips on our YouTube channel, um, and it was of JD Vance, and
Oh,
I feel like they're thinking that they might have made the wrong decision at this point, because he's bad, man. Like I've seen like a few clips recently. It's not good. It's not
yeah,
good at all. So I don't really understand the thought process behind it, because like
yeah.
with Pence, you would have a conversation even though it was like a robot, right? But like JD Vance is like, it seems like he goes up there and he has panic attacks, and like he's just like not what we're used to in MAGA country. I don't know.
Well, I think they tried to pull a Mike Pence again, where they thought, oh, we can bring all the really true Catholics and Christians back into Trump's, you know, uh, ecosphere, if you like, or like his orbit, because we bring in this guy. Their problem is yet again, like many people who get deep into these religions, especially men, they become like they're an overlord. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stuff he said I mean, we all see it come out of his mouth. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote. People with kids, I mean, like, shouldn't be allowed to vote. Women should have body autonomy. I mean, dude, you want to, ladies, if you're watching, if you want to be Handmaid's Tale, like real life shit, that's JD Vance.
Yeah,
And so it's crazy for me to sit there and go, like, Trump is to the left of JD Vance when it comes to like social freedoms and stuff like that.
right.
I'm gigantically to the left of both those clowns. I'm a libertarian when it comes to that. Leave me alone. Let me do what I want to do to my body. Don't force me to do anything to my body. And I think I would bet you the gigantic majority of people feel that way.
Yeah,
So when you got some dude who's like, oh, hey, you know, bitches, like, like
they're
we're gonna put,
they're not
yeah,
gonna be able to run on that anymore. Like, because
no,
Kamala's
dude,
gonna murder them with that.
yeah,
Like, it's gonna be like thrown down their throats. She's already started. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see what the Trump campaign kind of switches up, because I don't like, they can't be like that anymore. It's just not gonna happen. It's not
yeah.
gonna fit well, because
I would tell her
now,
to lean into it, you
right?
know?
So now she has completely shifted his strategy, right? And then she now has her strategy, and I'm with you. Like, I feel like she should just keep pouncing and like keep,
Yeah,
because that's what they did to Biden, right? They just kept
yep,
giving it to him, and like we didn't know where the hell he was at half the time. Like
yep.
he wasn't responding on Twitter. Like, it wasn't a fair fight to me. But now this seems like a fair fight, and I've seen it. Like, I've seen, again. I'll talk about it a million times. The energy that I feel and see is just
Instantly.
different. Yeah,
It was
it's just
instantly.
different.
And I would say wholeheartedly, and I don't know what it's like being a white male, but I could tell you wholeheartedly, like with every ounce of my heart, I would tell that powerful woman, again, wouldn't be my first choice, but I would tell her, fuck the racist, fuck the misogynist. If they want to be those people, lean the fuck into them and let them know we don't want you in our country any longer. So we will weed you out and you don't back down to those people. You have a conversation with somebody who wants to be conversational and have like an actual real debate about policies and how to fix solutions. If somebody wants to be a racist, misogynist, piece of shit, then we don't need to have conversations with them. They've already made their choice of where they stand. We will weed them out. They are not on the side of America, and she should lean into that. And I know it sucks to probably hear these things get drummed back up, but we need to bring those people to light and then get them the fuck out of this country. And if they want to go
Yeah,
live on an island somewhere, then get kick fucking rocks and get the fuck out of our country. Bottom line.
and then they're like, amen, brother. And then they're like talking about how she was a DNI hire and all kinds of stuff. And I'm
Trash.
like, but
Trash.
like let's, even those, senators, like let's see what they've done against her record, like in what she's
Lauren
done.
Boebert.
Yeah,
Lauren
like
Boebert.
right.
Oh,
That
she
have didn't
DEI?
even
Is she DEI?
that didn't even graduate from high school. Like, give me a break. You know what I
And
mean?
I
Like,
mean, and again, and I don't care about that. If you understand policy, like if you can come in with good intentions and you have a good heart and you want to do something for the working class, I don't give a shit if you dropped out of school in eighth grade. But if you come in and you're like, oh, this person's DEI and all this shit, she went to college. She is a prosecutor. She became a DA of the largest state, like by economy in our country and the fifth largest economy in the world.
yeah,
She wasn't some DA like some
I just
rinky
feel
dink
bad
little
for her.
like
I feel bad for her when she wins because it's going to be another situation in which the Republicans are going to start just try to make her presidency a lot like Obama's
yeah,
presidency, where
yeah,
they tried to, like, I just don't, I won't sit here and try to claim to understand Republicans because there's some good Republicans out there, but
of course.
this far right box that's there, it's so nasty and it's so like so okay to outwardly talk about it and be in front of people with it, which is not something that I'm comfortable with, right? Because to your point again, like this is not how we act in this country. Like this is not what we
Yeah,
do. But for some reason, because the far right has a way of making it okay, that it's giving license to people that are like,
yeah,
you know, don't have a voice or whatever, so they cling on to that, so they start acting the same way, and it's just kind of like a cancer that is infecting a lot of people, a lot of good people, I think.
yeah.
So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, this gets turned around. I definitely think there's a race now. But I do have one question for you. I know that you have some reservations on Kamala. What are those reservations?
I mean, I like I said, they're far less. I don't know, far less, but they're definitely less than I did with Biden. Just some of the track record of like taking money, and I know people like, well, everyone takes money from these billionaires. Not everybody. There's actually a few that don't, and those are why they get attacked by both sides. That would be my big reservation. I think that like at times, again, and this is not a major deal, I think at times like her ability to kind of speak to a crowd, she's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at somebody like Obama and how he would, I mean, dude, like you're watching this dude speak and you're just like, I'm like, yo, dude, what do you need me to do, bro? Like I'm
Captivating.
like ready to go, right? Like
Right.
it's like listening to like, like Denzel Washington and like Remember the Titans. Like I'm like, bro, give me a fucking helmet and let's roll. Right. With her, it's a lot more kind of like she's trying to be, so like P's and Q's, and I would like to
Yeah.
see her personality come out. Um, One of the things that I would say about Trump, even though I think he's a lunatic about what he's saying, but when it comes to like reading a crowd for the most part, I mean, he's gotten worse. If you ask me, I think he was better when he was 2015. I think he's just gotten
Well,
old
he's
and he's not
old.
reading it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at one point in time, when it came to reading a crowd and kind of like understanding how to hype people up and get people out, even though they're hyped up over crazy shit. But I will give him credit where credit's due because that dude got, he got people hyped up, and he just some of the crazy stuff would come out of his mouth. Like I said, he was the opposite of like Obama. There's like nothing articulate. There's nothing that's like well thought out of. But he was like the WWE guy who could just come out and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, brother," and everyone's like, "Yeah."
So
I
I
mean,
think,
look who was at the place was Hulk
yeah, I
Hogan.
think,
I mean, that's a
yeah,
perfect example.
yeah.
Look at Trump, brother, and he's like screaming. I'm like, that is Donald Trump in a nutshell.
So I know that we only have a few more minutes and we have something
Oh,
else
you're all
to get to,
good.
but just real quick, I wanted to, you wanted to talk about an article about the shooter. So this is the Trump shooter or the
Oh yeah,
person that attempted to kill Trump, like
the
that.
crooks. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but anyway, that's about it with Kamala. I'm actually I'm pretty excited that the Democrats did this. I believe
you
they
better
were
get
going to.
behind it, Wes. Let's
Oh,
go.
I'm behind it. I just like I said, I wanted to see somebody younger who had vibrance, and I hope she comes out, swinging, and I hope she's not afraid whatsoever of the Fox News and all these clowns on Newsmax and OAN and all that. Just dude, screw them, go after them, don't be afraid of them, and you show yourself you're a strong, independent, you know, woman. Guess what? They can all kick rock. So, well,
All right,
guys, so here we
go through this real quick for us.
yeah. So what we wanted to talk about, guys, was so this kid, we all know a lot of stuff about him, but so this article that we have in here it's talking a little bit more about some of the stuff we're finding out. So we found out that he flew a drone over the site early in the morning at some point. They have the footage. Again, I don't think any of this has been released yet, but at least released that it was done. They believe that he might have brought a ladder to this building in the early morning, climbed up there and hid his dad's AR-15
So
underneath like
like the
a
night before or
compressor.
something?
They think it was done in the morning because his dad said
Okay,
he didn't recognize his he noticed his gun was missing sometime in the morning. So there's
okay,
now been some like text messages that they got between his dad and him, and his dad and his mom was texting him saying like, "Where are you at?" And like they were really nervous because he wasn't responding. On top of the text messages, the drone flying over, there's just a lot of really interesting things that, for example, the like him his Google searches and stuff. He was searching. I think if you scroll up, you can see that he was searching stuff about the young. Or if you scroll like to the very top, I think it tells you about how he was searching. Yeah, about that Ethan Crumbley, because that's a kid that his parents are actually in jail because they were found
yeah,
basically liable for him being able to get to that gun. So they think that this Crooks kid was trying to find out would his parents be in trouble because it was his dad's gun. He was searching other famous people too. It wasn't even just presidents. He was searching like princes and all kinds of stuff about where they would be at. So I think he was just kind of like what I said on Facebook. Anybody can go see this. I got receipts a few days ago. I said my one of my theories was that he just wanted to be infamous because maybe he was picked on and stuff like that.
right.
And so it seems kind of like
Well,
that's what it
it's
was,
not it's not he was picked on. I mean, there's videos of it
Yeah.
that are all over
Yeah.
Twitter, so it's
Yeah, and then the
unfortunate.
school district tried to come out and say, "Oh, he was not picked on. Da 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 da." And it's like, dude, there's like you said, there's videos and other kids fully admitting, like, yes, he was very awkward. They said he was hardcore Republican, but he did not like Trump.
Yeah,
So again, maybe, like I said, one of my other theories was exactly that. Was that this is before we even knew that information? I said maybe he was like a Vivek Ramaswamy supporter or Nikki Haley, and maybe his parents also were, and they thought if we can eliminate Trump out of the race, we get like a good candidate. I don't know. You never know what people's motives are. Maybe he reminded, I don't know, like I said, maybe he just wanted to shoot somebody that was famous. Guys, like
yeah.
it's not always
Well,
like,
it doesn't get
you
any
know,
more famous than that. So
yeah. So, but anyway, guys, yeah, it's a pretty wild stuff that's coming out. A lot of conspiracies out there. Um, it seems like a lot of negligence is what we said, even on one of our
well,
recent podcasts was,
The FBI director resigned today. So
like you mean the Secret Service lady?
Secret Service, sorry, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Secret Service lady.
Say, I mean, they're yeah.
Yeah.
But we
So
thought, like we said that, guys, like a lot of negligence. You know what I mean? That's what happens in these big events.
yeah.
Negligence a lot of
So
times. So
we'll have an opportunity to talk about that a little bit more this week. The Secret Service director did resign today. If anybody had the opportunity to watch any of her testimony, it was pretty damn bad. She
Yeah.
didn't answer for anything. She was not locked in. It's almost like she was not briefed before that meeting with Congress, which is crazy to us. But we'll get into that a little bit more throughout the week. Again, guys, thank you for the support. Keep those subscriber numbers climbing. I'm seeing a lot of improvement. Go ahead and engage with us if you have any feelings.
Yeah.
If you don't like what we say, F your feelings. I don't care. I don't care, but at least collaborate with us and have some good sense in what you're trying to convey to us. But anyways, go ahead and
guys,
YouTube channel, all of our social media channels, or whatever, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of the things are Unfiltered Idiots Podcast. We love you guys. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.
Peace.